Welcome back to another edition of Tea and Toys, and something very unique coming from the Studio Series is a sidestep towards video games. Now, there was a little bit of back and forth, people thinking, were these going to be reissues of characters from the War for Cybertron TV Netflix show? And I'm in the camp that that's not the case. I don't think they'll be repackaging those characters within the Studio Series. It just wouldn't seem worth it or logical for them to do that. So they're going down what I believe the video game route. So that's these three games: War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and Transformers: The Dark Spark. Was it Rise of the Dark Spark? Oh, never mind. 5 characters were leaked. Optimus Prime. Now we are to assume that it is the first body from the game series that Optimus Prime will take. Bumblebee was the first character that was actually leaked a good few months back. Again, I thought it was going to be the Beetle Bumblebee, and yeah, there was no PR next to that leak, so we are led to believe that it will be this version of Bumblebee once again. Cliff Jumper, again, you can see from the picture there, very easy repaint with a different head. Megatron, again, Megatron has 2 bodies in the 3 games, and Decepticon Barricade. 5 of those characters from those 3 games will be appearing in the Studio Series. Now, as ever, I'm one for going back and trying to find out as many characters that they could cram into the Studio Series using these 3 games to push that. So let's go through them. There were a lot more than I had expected. So I went through and I put this together, so bear with me. This is a longer one than usual. We can see Warpath, Ironhide, Ratchet, Sideswipe, and Body 2 for Optimus Prime. Again, these, if it is the games even, these are all up for grabs to be in the new Studio Series. Jetfire, Silverbolt, Air Raid, Zeta Prime. Now, I'm one for Air Raid and Silverbolt not being combiners. They didn't combine in the game. I'm going to ignore the books and some of the comics that were tied in with the computer games, just sticking solely to the games. I don't want Silverbolt to be a combiner. I can see why others would want him to be, but for me, just have him as he is from the game, not hindered by the combining gimmick. And then we get Jazz, the pink version of RC, and Scattershot. And this is not the Technobot. This is actually the Scattershot from the Transformers, Cybertron, and or Galaxy Force TV show. I always thought it was interesting they did it. Like, for ages I thought, yeah, new Scattershot they're putting in there, very different, very left of field. And then I forgot that the leader of the Technobots was also called Scattershot. But it's quite cool that we're getting Scattershot. I think he's Scatter with an OR instead of an ER. Again, there was a DS version of the War for Cybertron game, so that could give us 2 possibilities of a Grimlock. One being a Voyager class vehicle, and 100% a leader class, big old bruiser Grimlock. I could possibly even see them doing a sneaky commander class out of this Grimlock, because in the game he was absolutely gigantic. Again, the DS version had a version of Swoop with a vehicle mode, and then it wasn't until Fall of Cybertron Swoop was given the Dinobot mould. So we could get 2 possible Swoops, again from the DS. Ultra Magnus first appeared in that version of the game. So, and then he made a full appearance in Fall of Cybertron. I think it was only multiplayer ability playable anyway. It wasn't actually in the story mode. And in the DS version he was called Hotshot in the game, but I think that they'll go with calling him Rodimus. For some reason they didn't want to call him Rodimus in the game, for some reason, because they wanted to do the whole Rodimus Prime storyline. That very much never happened. And then Cup. Now, Cup could literally just be a different head, maybe on an Ironhide body or something. I think he was literally just like a head character, communications character in the DS version of the game. I never played that version, but I'm an all-in here. So I'm going to try and fit as many characters from those game series in this video. Perceptor, Wheeljack, and Hound. Again, I think they all appeared in Fall of Cybertron, not the War for Cybertron. I also think Rise of the Dark Spark as well. And then the other Dinobots, Slag or Slug if you please, and Snarl, and the removed Sludge. Now, really bugged me that they killed him off in the game. Do all 5, cutting corners and taking one character out. Why did he do that? But if they do them, I want Sludge to be big. I want him to be as big as Grimlock, if not a leader class all out, but this big old bruiser unit of Dinobots. I'm all in for them doing them. I'm not going to pick them up personally, but I want to see them. I want to see how these versions translate into new plastic. And then we get more of your Titan or Commander class figures. A rejig of that Metroplex from, 10 years ago. I've got the first version of that Metroplex, but he is a bit skinny. The middle section is a bit skinny. I'm not going to upgrade mine. Oh hell no! But it'd be interesting to see what they might do with another version of Metroplex. But having said that, they have already done the Cybertron version this year already, so they might hold off from him. But they might do this version of Omega Supreme, who from the game, he was a solid and big old boy, and I would love to see how he would translate into plastic as well. So now we're going into the more obscure characters that had toys but weren't in the original game. So these are more unlikely, but they might be used for repaints and whatnot. And you can see this is the Wrecker's Ruination. They're using Impactor, Roadbuster, Topspin and Twin Twist, as well as Whirl. If they do a Bruticus, obviously we've not got to him yet because I haven't gone through the Decepticons, I can see them easily doing a repack or a big box set of the Ruination. And now, I think he was released as Air Raid, but we've got Firefly or Fireflight, as he should be known, on the left hand side there. So I actually would like them to do this version of Firefly if they're going to stretch it. They put a character like Thundercracker from the movies in the Studio Series when he actually never appeared in any of the movies. They already released a Firefly but called him Air Raid toy in the original toy line of Fall Cybertron, so I can see them doing it again. No combining gimmick. They didn't combine, and they weren't all in the show, and they weren't all original toys, just in the books. And then from there we could clearly see this would be based from the Soundwave, just like the original toy. Blaster, perhaps they might do a Steel Jaw, and they might do Eject, Rewind, Ramhorn, and Sunder, which is Blaster's Laserbeak type character from the Fall of Cybertron timeline. And then there was other characters that didn't make it in the games, or were promotional with the games. Like these two, Torque and Falcatron, were Australian promotions. People sort of put together designs or something, and these are the two that won that fan poll or fan vote or something. So it'll be interesting if they could bring those two into plastic. I'm noticing that they're actually not Cybertron modes, they're actually real vehicle modes. That's different, but they still could do them. And Blue Streak, who I don't think was actually in the game, but he did have promotional art. And as you can see from the background there, Broadside was meant to be the big Energon carrier thing that the Combaticons attack in the game. So it'd be interesting if they could bring Broadside to life, either as a Titan and or a Commander class figure. Then we get the Decepticons, main Decepticons. Again, the same process. We'll go through the main characters, then we'll go through the more fringe ones, and then we've got something a little bit more interesting at the end as well. So this is Megatron's second body, which appeared in Fall Cybertron and then mistakenly appeared in the Rise of the Darkspark. Yeah, those continuity errors didn't help, but there we are. So Megatron Body 2, definitely can see them doing this one. And then the three Seekers, Starscream, Thundercracker and Skywarp. Once they do one, you know the other two will be on their way. But it'd be nice if they jazzed him up, made him a bit bigger, maybe even a Voyager class size figure. Although in the game they're all kind of based on a deluxe scale. We'll see what they do that with a bit of artistic license, see how everybody turns out. And Soundwave, it'd be silly if they didn't do Soundwave. This version of Breakdown, Slipstream, and they might use the same mould as Skywarp and whatnot for Slipstream. But then again, they might give us some completely new mould, which I'll be up for, definitely. Or just a massive rejig of the Skywarp and Starscream and so on and so forth. And then Brawl, Shockwave and Quake, all up. They're all in the games. I think did Shockwave appear in the first game, or did they only appear in the second or in the middle game? I think it was only the second one. Again, Shockwave actually had the original toy, and it was my Shockwave for a long time on the shelf, but he was just very diddy. He seemed very small, and looking back at some of the footage from the game, and yeah, Shockwave does come up a bit shorter than even Soundwave in the game cinematics. Demolisher, now I love Demolisher as a character, and I want them to do a legacy version of Demolisher using more so the Armada body, but even this version of Demolisher really wanted it, and it was so frustrating they didn't put him in the game, only as a DLC playable character on the online mode of the game, which you now can't even do. So you would have spent that money and you can't even go back and use him. Ugh, so frustrating. Onslaught, again, a very disappointing original figure. They did a third-party figure to go with the others to make a bigger, badder, and better Bruticus. I never opened it. I bought it, I never opened it, just sold it. I was just like, oh, I just want to get rid of them because I didn't actually like the limbs and stuff. It didn't turn out very well, that Bruticus. It was like an early, looks like gangly arms and legs. And I believe that is Dead End as well. Again, if you're doing Barricade and the other like Stunticon alien cars and stuff, they all kind of look very similar, so I can see them making a lot of use out of those molds. And then a few like Minicon or core size characters that they could do. We know they're doing the G1 Rumble and Frenzy. Again, Frenzy leaked very recently. Using that buck, I could see them doing these two versions of Rumble and Frenzy. And again, this is, thinking about it, this Laserbeak isn't that too far off the original Netflix Soundwave Laserbeak anyway, so they might even just repackage this one with that Soundwave. And again, like with the Autobots, there were a good few unique characters from the DS version of the game which did not appear in any other versions. So Cyclonus looking pretty damn cool here. And if they don't go into some of these characters that were in the Fringe DS game, I think they'll be missing something there. And this version of the Motormaster as well, pretty damn tasty. Look how big he looks like a massive bruiser. And then you've got two sort of ropey designs. These are the best pictures I could find of Ramjet and Dirge. Again, you can see that if they do them, they're using the Starscream buck to then make these two versions, just with the comb and head. Dragstrip, like Megatron, like Optimus Prime, actually got two different bodies, one in the DS and one in Fall of Cybertron or Rise of the Dark Spark. So two potential drag strips, finishing off the Battagons, Swindle, Vortex and Blast Off. Again, Vortex not in the grey in this game. You had a red and sort of golden look, which is very much the Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron, Vortex. Yeah, bring it on and make this bigger, badder version of Bruticus. Now, Sharp Shot, Kickback and Hard Shell. Now, usually I would go for their original Insecticon names, but these particular characters are designed to be a bit bigger, so you can actually afford for them to do a Voyager size version of these three characters. They weren't deluxe size, they were big old boys in the games, and I'm happy for them to use Sharp Shot and Hard Shell. It's a shame in hindsight that the middle one's called Kickbacks, because you could have used them as three separate, more bigger, beastier Insecticons on your shelf if they had three different names. That and Hard Shell is a character that does appear in the Prime series, but it's a completely different body, completely different personality. So should this Hard Shell be closer to Bombshell, or should this Hard Shell be very much his own version of the character? Either way, they can be bigger versions. They don't have to be deluxe size this time around, because they're not that size in the game. And then two more Titans. Yes, I would like to see a Titan version of this Bruticus. Why not? I think this version deserves it a bit more than the standard G1 version, if and when they get round to doing a legacy version of Bruticus, fingers crossed. And this version of Decepticon. Now, what he'll transform into, God knows. He's meant to be a space station, and then in the second game he gets converted into the Nemesis. Don't like that idea. I kind of want the more space station version, but for playing I can see why they would go with the spaceship version using this robot mode, let's say, for Decepticon. Either way, such quality design on both of them. Again, with the toys that came out, they did a Sound Blaster which came with your Buzzsaw. Poor old Buzzsaw seems to be packaged with Sound Blaster more often than not recently, or paired up with him, even though he originally came with Soundwave. And then Ravage, again, Ravage massively missing from the original game, and Ratbat as well would be a nice addition if they're going to go down the route of the different toys. Now, okay, now this is when it gets a bit long. A lot of these characters have the same, or troopers, sorry, have the same sort of vehicle. So you can rejig them or give them as many weapons, and they can come in as 101 different colours, as you'll see. So we'll go through. In the DS version, there was a character that they called Rookie. Now, to be fair, looking at the Rookie and looking at those troopers, you could release a special version of Rookie, let's say, or you just release it as a trooper. And then there was a fun, joke bot. He's one of the levers that you pull to, I think, to open up either the gun cabinets or something, or open up lock safes within the game. And he's literally on TF Wiki. He's called the Lever Bot. And I think it's one of those things that, yeah, do it. Make it. It's a bit different. Stick him. Yeah, he will be an exclusive. There won't be people clamouring to buy this one. Yeah, do Lever Bot. Why not? Again, with Leverbot and so on and so forth, the Decepticons had their own. I can't remember the guy on the right's name, but the guy on the left is one of the Leapers. It's quite a cool design. I can't remember if they actually transformed. Then you've got the Snipers from the middle and the second game, which took out the Snipers from the original game. But there we go. That is any potential figure or army builder. Looking at a lot of those troopers, you could probably do a trooper and just have lots of clip-on add-ons. So you can make your snipers, your troopers, your machine gunners, your rocketeers. Just stick with the vehicle and then just have a hell of accessories with each one. Why not? Have a bit of fun. See, a lot of characters, a lot of potential that they can add to the Studio Series. Well, tell me what you think. Tell me who you want to see from this big host of characters. I think there's over 70 different toys that they could potentially make here. So yeah, don't forget to love, like, subscribe, and comment the hell out of this video. And I'll see everybody in the next one.